The Hamas militant group has handed over another batch of hostages. The 13 Israelis and 4 Thai nationals are now safe in Israel after the Red Cross escorted them from Gaza. The release was delayed after Hamas accused Israel of preventing aid trucks from reaching northern Gaza. Afterwards, Israel released another group of 39 Palestinians who had been held in Israeli prisons. They are seen here in a Red Cross bus arriving to a welcoming crowd in the West Bank town of Baitunia. This was the second group of Palestinian prisoners to be freed as part of the 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas. Hamas has only agreed to release 50 of about 240 hostages they are believed to be holding. Family members described an agonizing wait for the second release late Saturday night. As negotiations dragged on for hours, the deal almost collapsing before the captives were released. DW's Ben Fajzullin spoke to some of them gathered in central Tel Aviv who say they won't rest until all the hostages are freed.
They're here to give the hostages left behind a voice. The demonstrators want the Israeli government to do more. It's been 50 days. That's why rally organizers called up a 50,000-strong crowd. They say 100,000 came to what's now known as Hostage Square, including family and friends of Gali Trachansky. Hamas terrorists took her captive on October 7, later killing her brother.
This 13-year-old girl who doesn't know that her brother was killed. Her parents didn't even do a funeral yet because they're waiting for the girl. So we're really worried and we want them home.
She's one of so many still in captivity, with the clock ticking and a ceasefire that could break any time. That's not stopping a nation from uniting.
People who have family members who were murdered are here to support the people whose families are being hostage, and I think that means everything. The Israeli society must rise from this moment, and I think this evening here shows that.
Even relatives of those already released are here tonight. This symbolic banquet table finally beginning to fill with its guests, the freed hostages like Adina Moshe.
We are all excited, so excited. The joy of everybody in the family was amazing. Yesterday we had shouted of joy and cheerful once we heard that we saw her picture through the Egyptian TV in the vehicle of the Hamas going to be released. And you know, we prepared this type of shirts, which we are not going to use anymore. But today we come here to stand by with the whole families of hostages because we are one big family. And though they released Adina Moshe, there are still over 200 hostages still in Gaza Strip. And my family, we came more than 30 people to support and will continue to come. We know the whole families will stay together until everybody is going to be released.
And your aunt is quite defiant, I believe.
My aunt is amazing. She's a powerful lady. Even though she's 72 years old, when she go out of the Hamas vehicle, she slapped the terrorist on his hand, which became viral everywhere. So maybe she's weak in body, but they never managed to break a spirit. She's a powerful one.
Something to celebrate tonight. Because who knows what tomorrow will bring. The roller coaster of emotions continues, and this is far from over.
It's a difficult situation. Everyone knows. People down here have told me it's they're leaving it up to the government to do their job. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu repeated again today it is one of their priorities, releasing these hostages. Of course, he also wants to defeat Hamas, but releasing the hostages is not the #1 priority, and that's what families down here have a problem with.
DW's Tania Krämer is standing by in Jerusalem. Hello, Tania. A huge turnout for that rally at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Is the public pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu increasing or easing due to the hostage releases by Hamas?
Well, I think it is both, and then we heard it in this report. I think right now the focus is on really getting those 50 hostages that were agreed upon in this agreement out from Gaza. Today is the third day that we're expecting again more hostages to be released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. But of course the pressure on the government will not subside, and the huge turnout on Saturday night in Tel Aviv shows that, because what people are really concerned about is that for now it's, you know, those 50 hostages. There's still also, it's very clear, it is a very fragile process. We saw it on Saturday when, you know, the hostage, the freeing of the hostage was was delayed, and there will be afterwards still almost 200 hostages that will be still being held in Gaza. So families there are very concerned about it. But we've also seen a bit of a smaller demonstration in Jerusalem in front of the Prime Minister's residence on Saturday night with people calling for his resignation. And I think at the moment the focus is, of course, that the nation comes together to free those hostages. But the questions how the government handled it and what has been done, these will not subside, and they might grow stronger once, you know, the hostages are brought back home.
As you said, it's a very fragile process. There was a lot more tension on Saturday with the release process. What went wrong?
Well, the delay came after Hamas accused Israel of violating the agreement. We know publicly Hamas said that Israel was, on the one hand, interfering in this selection process, how the Palestinian prisoners that are slated to be released, that is also every day, were selected. And they also said that no aid was arriving actually in the north of Gaza. Israel had denied that. And Egyptian and Qatari mediators interfered. They were mediating, and they said they finally solved the issue. And the hostages were released, and very late on Saturday night they were handed over to the International Red Cross, then were brought on the Israeli side to the hospitals, and they were overnight then reunited with their families.
So at one point, the Israeli defense minister said if Hamas would not release hostages as planned yesterday, negotiations would continue, quote, under fire. Was the Israeli military ready to restart hostilities, you think?
Well, I think this threat is always there, because Israel has made it very clear that, you know, even once the 4 days that have been agreed upon, although there are talks now that they might be extended, that maybe more hostages might be released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, but that the war will resume one way or another. And this has been talked about here. They have been very open about it, because their goal is to eliminate Hamas and to dismantle their infrastructure. So this threat is very much always there.
Before you go, Tania, can we expect another exchange today? That seems to be the plan, right?
That is the plan. We understand the Prime Minister's office has released a statement that they have again received a list of names of the hostages that are expected to be released today. We're expecting it maybe in the same time frame, again in the afternoon. We're not yet having all this information about it. Of course, this is good news, because it means the process is ongoing, but it's also very necessary, because humanitarian aid organizations are saying they need also this time to get the aid that is also part of this agreement into Gaza, and they're hoping, of course, that the time will be extended for that.
Okay, DW's Tania Krämer, thank you.